Hi, welcome to the lecture 2 of the IoT security subject. Okay, we have went through the part 1, the explanation of IoT security in the IoT environment. Today we'll go through the various use cases, right? So the first use cases we'll go through is basically IoT healthcare. Okay, so upcoming gonna have a video that explain how IoT healthcare in term have a use case and some of the vulnerability and risk and mitigation. Let's take a look at the video then. Here goes the video.
Welcome to the future of healthcare. Here at Cisco, we create innovative technologies that help patients and doctors engage on any device, anywhere, anytime. We're simplifying the way doctors and other care team members work together, helping them be more productive than ever. Thanks to collaboration technologies, local teams can share information across their home facility and gather expert opinions from around the world. From connected clinical devices to digitized facilities, we're reimagining today's hospitals and clinics, opening up a world of medical possibilities. And those security breaches and compliance issues, Cisco helps keep patient data and devices safe and highly secure. Beyond doctors and patients, we're transforming manufacturing for pharmaceuticals and medical devices, helping to get treatments to market faster than ever. Ready to empower healthcare innovation in your organization? Let our team of experts, along with our ecosystem of partners, plan, build, and manage a comprehensive digital strategy for you.
Okay, let's move on. So some of the healthcare devices that is possible out there is such as a fitness device, right? It's more one of the more popular IoT equipment. Okay, they communicate sometimes with the cloud application, right? So like a smart device, they update whatever into the cloud application end of the day. Okay, some of them use Bluetooth, some of them use cellular data, or cellular data is this way. Okay, they come in many forms, maybe a wristwatch, a headband, or a helmet, or so on and so forth. Okay, consists of a sensor that can detect your heart rate and accelerator that detects your motion in terms of your steps. So you may have something that you run and whatever it is. Okay, and then the cloud application actually enable the storage for a desktop. So why this becomes a security issue is because one of the in US there's a thing called Fitbit. Okay, it basically exposed a US military camp. Okay, which is not supposed to appear on the internet. It just grow over the internet. Someone say, "Hey, what's that? How come the island suddenly have people?" Right? And it's not supposed to have people, and then you have a Fitbit record that runs around that place, so that exposed the military camp that are not supposed to expose. So that's where this thing comes in. Next is healthcare at home, right? It's a form of healthcare monitoring device. It may be at home, it may be in the hospital itself. Okay, it involves collection of patient data over a period of time. Okay, to real time remote the patient monitoring. So basically, this thing is by IoT. Okay, it can be at home, it can be at hospital. So a typical system known as this is like a wearable sensor that is put on such as a body sensor network end of the day. Okay, normally goes to a gateway to collect this information at home. Let's say heart rate, blood oxygen, blood pressure, motion sensor, so on and so forth. The standard one, glucose is one of the standard meter that is one of them. The other one is a very often one is the your heart rate, because of your heart, the pacer. Later we'll go through and take a look at the heart pacer, okay, in more detail. The other one recently, blood oxygen, is more about COVID, to measure the blood oxygen level. So many countries they issue this thing to the user, but at the end of the day, the data is not directly to this way lah. The data may be through a phone or whatever and sent over to the over the internet and meant for storage and analysis end of the day. Okay, blood sugar is the same lah. Another thing is blood pressure. The other one is blood pressure. Okay, these are the few common one. The rest is not so much lah. What in motion, ECG, respiration. This one's a little bit less, okay, in comparison. So in hospital, there are at least 20 devices can be found in a single hospital room, right? At least, okay. So there are many medical devices nowadays in the hospital room. They provide all kinds of IoT connectivity, such as patient data, tracking the location of the patient, right? There's some therapeutic device, okay, that controls and helps in terms of regulation of drugs, fluid, and oxygen, so on and so forth. Especially COVID, oxygen is the one of the key one, okay. We just finished COVID, okay. So it is quite challenging for the IT department to help. On one hand, we try to make it as efficient as possible. The second part is we're quite worried about the security portion, because if data leak, okay, if there's not enough oxygen to the patient, it may kill if someone hack in and do some changes on it. Okay, so that's one of the key portion of it. One of the thing is the heart phaser. We mentioned just now, one of the key thing that has been the oldest. If a hacker hack the heart phaser, it may cause the person to have heart attack and the person may die. Okay, so that's why it's so important. The other part is of course the insulin pump, the sugar portion. Okay, so that's the main tool. The main tool, the blood sugar cannot be too low, cannot be too high also. It also can kill someone. So this is the two main kind of device that's IoT, very much IoT today for medical. Okay, in 2017 they discovered that there is some security flaw and they try to patch it up. Okay, for the heart pacer itself. Okay, there are altogether 465,000 devices affected. So it's quite serious, because if you are not patched, and anything that caused that thing not working will kill the person, because the heart stop beating end of the day. Okay, so because they found some vulnerability at the remote attack over radio, okay, using the firmware itself. For healthcare worker, the vulnerability can range from no authentication, no username, no password, okay, or weak password, basically the default password, right? That's something that's not favorable. There are a lot of people that don't understand cybersecurity, so they will think that, okay, we just buy the device, we just use it. So they did not change the default password. Okay, this is actually means by using the default one. Just now we saw the case, right? Last week we saw the case on the lesson 1 that it's easily that you can find the password over the internet if you use the default password, right? It's as if there's no password at all. Okay, the healthcare personnel may run some web page, okay, over the medical device, go over the internet. It may have subjected to some form of vulnerability also, right? Especially email. Okay, there are many phishing email attack. Okay, and some of the web clients, right? The main case of data losing is for Singapore is a SingHealth case. Okay, this is exactly what happened. One of the machine was not detected, and that becomes the starting point, and there's a huge data leak thereafter. Okay, there are many old devices, right? Operating system may be very old. Some of them is as old as XP. I found some of them as old as XP. Online, even a new one if you want to buy. I think the XP is gone. Then at least now need to support Windows 7 at least, right? But that's still not good enough, because even Windows 7 is end of support. Microsoft are not supporting them. So this is a point that is painful. Okay, the Microsoft has a lead time of expiry. The time gets shorter and shorter. It gets harder and harder for manufacturer to keep up with the pace. It used to be every 5 years, So like '03 to '08, it's 5 years, right? 2003 to 2008. Then it become 4 years, right? And it become 3 years recently. So the timing of refreshing gets shorter and shorter. It gets very problematic, especially people are using Microsoft Windows, right? So that is one of the major issue today. Okay, and a lot of all these devices are poorly regulated and not designed according to the hardware and software security standard. So it's even harder. So at the end of the day, all these things need to take into account when it comes into the IoT part, because at the end of the day, if this thing is not properly managed, it may kill someone. So in Singapore, there is a specific group of people, task force, that actually look into just all these medical device, and yet we still have this SingHealth case going on. Okay, so it is not an easy task. Things should be take a look a lot more into this part itself. Next, the risk. So when there is vulnerability, there's weaknesses, right? Data can be there. Information can be manipulated, as we mentioned, and may cause a patient to have injury or death, kill, for example, the heart pacer not working, right? So can allow any hacker to connect to access the data and receive some of this information. Okay, the personal information data can be stolen, okay, and manipulated changes, okay, and this is a very strong rules in terms of very heavy fine if it's break the government rules of personal data. Okay, one of the very obvious one is SingHealth case for this particular thing, right? Because at the end of the day, your personal information is leaked. Next stage is it may kill the person, or the other part is take out this information and then go into some other system, example finance, go into the bank and take out all the money. Okay, so that's the other risk that's facing. Okay, what are the mitigation method for especially in healthcare? So people need to think and design and build the device with security in mind, which is not easy, right? Because as I mentioned, the timeline is getting shorter and shorter. To train a person to write a Windows driver is not so trivial, and you need to know both the software and hardware. Okay, so this part is on the driver itself, right? The Microsoft driver, both hardware and software is involved. So it's not so trivial, it's not so simple as it is. Okay, end of the day. Then there's another group of people, the healthcare administrator. Are they trained? Do they know what's going on when they purchase any equipment, right? They may be medical trained, but do they understand it's not just medical trained, but the thing need to be properly secured in terms of security, cyber security. So they not only need to be both trained in hardware and software itself. Okay, next part is the IT personnel, the people within the organization. So people from the healthcare administrator must talk to the IT personnel. Okay, both directional, and they need to look at the IT architecture end of the day. They need to communicate and look at the IT architecture and make sure that the data is isolated and the network is properly controlled. Okay, and there are vendors, right? Who are the vendors involved? So they need to understand who's the vendor involved. Is the thing properly clear out already after the vendor handover? Does the IT personnel know how to handle it? Does the healthcare administrator know how to handle it? The healthcare administrator may involve doctor and nurses. Okay, they need to know how to handle all these things. So they need to be trained and retrained. Okay, last but not least, the healthcare personnel, okay, also need to be trained to build the cybersecurity awareness. Okay, to make sure that as a whole, the whole thing will work out properly. Let's move on. Okay, so we have covered the two. So this is all the things we've covered for the first chapter, chapter 1. Okay, that's all. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.